How's it going? Good afternoon. Excited to return home to the friendly confines of Soldier Field. Uh, we're looking forward to getting back out on the football field and just getting back out and playing football the way that we're capable of, playing defense the way that we know that we can, and in a manner that will make a difference for our football team. This offense that we're getting ready to face, rookie quarterback, another person that can extend plays, that can make off-schedule plays, and that has done a lot with his on-the-ground scrambling. So we have to do an excellent job of taking away that from him and also stopping their rushing attack. Stevenson has done a really good job. Big physical guy, breaks a lot of tackles. Hunter Henry is the kind of go-to guy for this quarterback. He finds the open spaces on the football field in terms of making himself available when things start to break down. He's a reliable target, very good receiver, not only in the underneath passing game, but as we start to work deep. So we have to make sure that we keep him contained. And we just have to play our style of football, and we all know what that is. The things that we take pride in, taking the football away, getting off the field, making life miserable for quarterbacks, making sure our rush is where it needs to be, and that we're complementing the other two phases. So just excited to get on the field and watch our guys respond and play with a lot of enthusiasm. With that, I'll take your questions.
How do you quantify the loss of Andrew Billings and what that means for whoever's behind him, whether it's Pickens, Williams, any of those guys?
It's huge. I mean, Andrew, just a big physical guy. He's elevated his game this year in terms of being able to affect the quarterback. He can play from his position to the sideline, so there's no replacing Andrew. And besides that, he's his leadership, the example that he sets every single day in the meeting rooms and on the practice field. We'll step up behind him, but it's something that you don't replace a person like that, a pro like that. But I have tremendous confidence in the players that will step into that position and give us a chance to go out and do the things that we need to do.
What did you see on the game video in terms of the ability to stop the run last week that was consistent?
Well, just the margins, if you will, just some of the areas in the margins that you have to be really good, really consistent with, really decisive with. We fell short in that regard, and that starts with me, making sure that we're prepared for every type of run concept that we can see. The guys, our physicality, our effort on perimeter run plays, all those things are outstanding. We just have to make sure, I have to make sure that when the runs declare themselves, whether they're gap scheme runs, wide zone, whatever it is, that our guys feel comfortable in playing downhill and knocking those things out.
Do you feel like the defense was uncomfortable Sunday pretty consistently? Because it seems like it's been building up to that as the season has gone on. The run defense has kind of been a struggle for you guys.
Well, there's the run defense, and there's our level of comfort. As far as the first thing that you asked, absolutely not. Walking out of the locker room and watching the way we competed on that first series, going 3 and out, I saw the same things that I see in practice that I've seen throughout the entire season when we've had standout, complete performances. Sunday was a day that happens to the best of us. The resolve and the toughness, the mental toughness, and the eagerness to get back out on the football field and to right our ship. I have all the confidence in the world in our guys.
What would the return of Montez mean for that? Just that energy that you want to show there.
Well, Montez, he's a Pro Bowl caliber player. He's a person that's capable of making standout plays and forcing the issue at any given point. Either forcing the quarterback to make off-schedule throws, which we can benefit from that by intercepting the football. He's excellent at the point of attack. What he adds, the value that he adds to our defense is, we're all well aware of that. So we'll be excited to have him back out there. His influence, his leadership, his talent, and it'll make a difference for us.
When you say being better on the margins, do you mean, can you expand on that? Do you mean diagnosing what type of play it is? Do you mean executing specific assignments? What is that?
The granular details, all of the details that go into allowing a defense, and I'm talking about a complete defense, and I'm talking about from the individual person at the point of attack to the people away and how we need to address things Just some of those minor granular details that will make a difference. And you're defending that run and then keeping it in front of you, or that thing can break out. It's the National Football League. And if you aren't on top of those things, the teams that we'll face, the offenses that we'll face, they'll exploit that.
How much are injuries at the root of the issues, at least last week? Because I know you preach next man up, but there's a next man up for Sweat. It seemed like that was a breaking point.
Well, I won't ever default to a player not being available as a source or as a reason for a performance not being the way that we want it. As I mentioned, you don't replace guys like Andrew, you don't replace Montez, but there's a reason why we have the depth. There's a reason why we developed the depth that we have on this roster. We expect that next person to step in and not be Montez or anybody else, but play to the limit of his ability. And, Jacob Martin was a perfect example of that. Jacob Martin came into the football game, and I believe I stood here a week ago and I said I expect a significant leap in his contribution, and he only had a sack. He had another pressure. He made a very decisive play at the end of the game when they were running the football, and so he was able to exploit what he can do. Austin Booker is another person that did some really nice things in the game. Chris Williams, and so we like our depth. Our standout players are who they are and what they add to our defense, but we like the people that we have rotating in the game.
Eric, do you anticipate Tyrique Stevenson will be back at his starting cornerback position?
Yeah, Coach Eberflus will announce the starting lineup when he's ready to do that. I just know that Reek's attitude last week during the game was outstanding. I don't know if you're able to see the TV copy, but once we got off the field on that first series, he was the first one out to the numbers, encouraging and congratulating his teammates. And then when he rotated into the ball game, he made a heck of a play in stripping a ball away from the intended receiver. So, and he's doing a nice job out in practice yesterday, and so he'll be ready to go.
Eric, you guys have done a really good job. Whenever Jack's on the field, it seems like your base defense has been really effective. Was there something Arizona did that other teams had not done that was able to get a couple explosives when Jack was on the field?
No. It goes back to what I mentioned at the outset. Just being on top of some of the details, and everything starts with the line of scrimmage, attacking and disrupting. When teams start to pull offensive linemen and the gaps change, we have to make sure that we disrupt those things at the line of scrimmage level to make it cleaner for the guys at the second level, our safeties, our linebackers. So no, there was no scheme, or there was no plan of attack that we hadn't seen or prepared for.
You mentioned Drake May and his legs, particularly in this last outing against Tennessee. What stood out to you about how productive he was as a rusher?
The size and the speed. He's not looking to slide. Once he decided that he couldn't go to his go-to target was covered or wasn't available, then he turned into a running back. And he's got tremendous size and speed. He's decisive, and it's just that's just tough. And so we got to make sure we keep him in the pocket. We were able to do that last week against another quarterback that has tremendous speed. I don't think he got out, so the challenge is the same this week.
Last season, Zack Pickens came on very strong and kind of plateaued out. It doesn't seem like he's really been able to hit that upward trajectory again this season. What do you need to see from him now with more opportunity heading into this week to really get him back going?
I just want to see just that energy and decisiveness, the physicality from Zack, and not getting in his own way, not overthinking things or overanalyzing things, just attacking. And he's preparing himself to do that. When we've seen that, it's made a huge difference in our bottom line. And, coming off of an extended absence the way that he did, not making any excuses for him, but just trying to find that rhythm. And NFL football on Sunday is different than practicing it. It's different than walkthroughs. And so he'll be a lot better this week. I'm looking forward to that, and he'll help us win.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. Another week to look to improve, get better, execute at a higher level on offense through all the hard work and dedication that our players have put into this thing. And can't wait to get out to practice today after a great day of work yesterday. And can't say enough about how the group responds every single week through the good and the bad, maintaining that positive mindset and that ability to be forward thinking and competitive and looking to improve the thing and get things going. So with that, I'll open it up to you guys.
What's been your evaluation of DeAndre Swift's season up to this point?
Yeah, I think Swift's a guy. Talk about hard work paying off. You know, he had a tough start to the season where we're looking to get the run game going, and then had a span there where he's over 100 total yards in multiple games in a row. You see him, his toughness, his quickness, his ability in the run game and the pass game to be a multifaceted player for us. So everything he does, some of the hurdles that he's had within the course of the games, or some of the special runs he's had, like in the Washington game down the left sideline, I think are just a product of how hard he works and how hard everyone plays for him because they see what he does.
And with Ryan Bates working his way back in and the struggles you guys have had protecting Caleb up the middle, do you think that maybe that center competition could be back open, or do you expect to see him more at right guard?
Yeah, right now I think Brian's done a great job of working his way back into the mix, coming off of injury right there. I think Coleman's done a great job of controlling the inside of the line as far as communication and calls. And then every week, we'll have to deal with, whether it's injuries or different things that are happening, where guys will cross-train and get ready to play the potential of multiple spots within the game. And we know we have all the confidence in the world of Ryan to play all three of those inside spots. But as every week goes, we'll evaluate it by the end of the week and as different circumstances play out. But in terms of that right now, just looking for Ryan to keep putting good stuff on tape every day in practice like he's continued to do as he's worked back from his rehab.
Shane, I know development of rookie quarterback is not linear, that's understood, but just by the eye test, when you look at Caleb the last couple weeks, by the way he plays the position, it just looks like he's regressing. Why is that wrong? Why is that not right?
Yeah, I think for Caleb, every week is going to be a new set of circumstances that he's dealing with, different defensive structures, different blitz patterns, all the things that play out. And so for him, each week, just continue to work, playing clean eyes, clean feet, playing fast in the pocket right there. And it's something that, looking through all the different young quarterbacks, there have been some ups and downs as the process has taken place. And the thing that gives me all the confidence in the world in Caleb is his dedication to his craft, the way he comes into work every single day. And so we'll keep working and coaching him and the guys surrounding him, working their butts off to get this thing going and get it going in a consistent manner.
Is it more about him or everything around him, the protection scheme, the receivers, everything is, I know it's both.
Sure.
But is it more one or the other?
I think it's always impossible in the game of football to say it's always one thing. It's just it's all 11 every.
One more than the other.
Yeah, I think each play you could say one, it's one or the other depending on the play. That's why it's such a unique game. You got 11 guys that have their responsibilities on every single down, and collectively as a unit, if everyone can execute their assignment every single play, we know we have a great chance. And for Caleb in particular, that cycle of the snap, getting up there, playing fast, something that he's been committed to do and working on and getting better. And like I said, I know there's going to be ups and downs. That's part of the process, but that confidence, that belief that he has in himself, that his teammates have in him, has been unwavering.
The offense seemed to be really rolling before the bye week. What have you noticed is different over these last couple of games?
Yeah, I think similar to the early part of the season where, the negative plays or the second and long, third and long situations have really crept up for us in those games where we haven't had as much success, especially this past week where we're in multiple, second and 10 pluses leading to third and longers. Generally speaking, those are the scenarios you want to stay out of as an offense. And, when we're going and playing at a higher level, we know we're getting more runs called because we're not having as many negative plays. We're staying efficient with that balance, the marriage of the run and the pass, and then the completion play mindsets come to life, and you're in those second and shorters or right up to first and 10, third and shorters, and able to execute at a higher level.
Shane, since the bye, Cole Kmet's kind of been a non-factor in the passing game. Is there a rhyme or reason to his lack of targets?
Yeah, I think for us on offense, with whether it's Cole, DJ, Keenan, like these are guys that want the ball every single play and should want the ball every single play because they are, great playmakers in this league. And I think it's not just for Cole, it's for all the guys. When we're getting the ball spread around, when we're playing more efficiently, it leads to the touches, and those are the guys making those plays come to life. So whether it's any of our guys on offense offense. I know Cole hasn't had the ball go his way these last few weeks right here, but not by intent, but by the way the plays have played out. I think he's another guy that's done a great job of working at it, trying to find where he can go ahead and improve every single down, and collectively as a group, the more efficient we play, we know the more touches, the more yards, all the things that come into play when we go that direction.
Simply just a byproduct of the defense taking him away, or is there something else?
Yeah, I think there's a combination of that, whether, certain coverages might on a play called where he might be one in the progression, coverage rolled a different way, or, something had to move in the pocket or different things that have happened, but it just hasn't worked out for him. And, I love Cole. I love his attitude, the way he comes to work every single day. So it's our job as coaches for all those guys to keep trying and working to figure out ways to put them in the best position to find touches, to get more involved in the game as these weeks progress.
On the third offensive possession, Caleb tried to hit Keenan in the back left corner on a fade route. It looked like DJ was open in the middle of the field. Should that ball go to DJ on that specific play?
On these, when we're going through our progressions there, when we got number one, he feels like have a chance at it. He's doing a good job of reading through his progression right there. And there's going to be, people on the backside where there are 2, 3 in progressions that will come open from time to time. But I think Caleb's done a good job in some of those scenarios, like those one-on-ones, had a chance at Rome on a one-on-one, had a chance at Keenan, where we're trying to get those things done. And we miss them. Other weeks we've hit those. And obviously in the red zone, you talk about those matchups or executing at a high level on those plays. Weeks before when we're, multiple touchdowns in the red zone, those scenarios are playing out. So I think playing fast and not bypassing one and having the confidence to keep taking those shots, regardless of the outcome, as long as the process through the play is right.
I was talking about yesterday the disconnect between him at times with DJ Moore. As an OC, what can you do? Obviously, you can't create the chemistry for them, but what can you do to put them in a better position where they're not so disconnected?
Yeah, I think for those guys, they've done a good job of really communicating throughout practice, in between every single series when we're, the defense is up and our offensive scout team is up. I think the receivers do a good job of communicating with Caleb, talking through the previous downs, what went right, what went wrong, how we see him running each particular route. And I think for any of the young players and then playing with veterans, just continuing to communicate, continuing to talk about every single look, knowing that looks will repeat themselves, and as they still accumulate reps, time on task, those different looks will play out where they're in sync more times than not.
Why do you guys?
Caleb's sack percentage is higher than anything you had in Seattle. Is that just because he's a rookie quarterback, or is there more at play there?
Yeah, I think the going back to the sacks there, it is something you talk about. I know you'd posed the question earlier, one or the other different things. To me, that's like the ultimate team stat right there, because each one of these plays, there's certain times where it's on the quarterback to have the ball out. There's certain times where if he does get flushed, go ahead and a throwaway is okay. And then there's other times where, a defensive scheme, might hit home, quicker than anticipated, and you got to be able to play the next down. So I think overall as an offense, the high number of sacks is something that we really started to hone in on, and we've talked about obviously every week, but as they accumulate, that's a big goal of ours to reduce that number, because that goes back to the second down execution, third down execution, because the more, of all the stats, of all the negative play stats, sacks are ones that impact the drives, expected points more than anything. So we're working through all the different causes there.
When there's so many facets to it, how do you improve it? I mean, it seems like, because there's so many different things you got to. Right?
Yeah, I think that's our job, and that's why it's a great job, because we got to work with everybody, got to talk through every single issue every week, kind of like the talk about receivers with different coverage contours, different things that play out, the different patterns or the different reasons for each individual sack. Being able to learn from those, and whether it's a situation where it's a ball out play and something got off there, or whether it was a edge on a pickup issue right there. Making sure that we're not making the same mistake twice moving forward as an offense, and we're honing in on all those different things. And like I said, that's a week-long process every single week when we're talking about our protection strategy, the plays that we're putting the players in position to make right there. It all goes together, and it's something we'll continue to work on, because that is an area that we do need to improve on.
And this might go along with what you've been kind of talking about, but the pre-snap penalties, is there a trend to those?
Yeah, I think it goes, the games that we've had success, we've limited those. I think we've gotten better overall as an offense with our operation, being at the line of scrimmage, going on some of the different road environments, being good with those, being tuned into we know some of the things with the line of scrimmage about where our alignments are, know what the rules are, being on point with those, and again, those are things similar to sacks, not quite as detrimental, but they're still knocking you off schedule. So anything that we can control is something we got to keep working on to have that goal of every single game. No pre-snap penalties. It's always going to be a starting point because physical penalties can happen, right? Someone gets edged and a hold might occur, not intentional, but some of those physical penalties, and we still coach those the same as avoiding them. But any pre-snap penalty, those are all things that we can control through the actions of our own offense right there.
Why is that such a struggle for you guys? Because I know it's going back before you, but this is something that the Bears have been dealing with offensively for a couple of years now. Why is it the pre-snap penalties keep happening, and it seems like with the same people?
Okay, I can't speak to the past situations there, but for us this year, it goes all the way back to that operation. We want to be able to see how quickly we can get in and out of the huddle. That takes all 11 guys, where we're at that attacking mindset, getting up, getting set. So we have that time, that comfort level at the line. If we need to adjust something, we're not in a situation where we have maybe 2 men in motion because we're a little bit late getting set. So we'll always talk about it, getting our cleats in the ground, all 11 players getting ready for the cycle of the snap. And to me, those are all things that come with the speed and the mental mindset of attacking the line of scrimmage, whether it's a tempoed play or it's just a regular huddle call right there. Cleats in the ground. How many seconds can we steal on every play before the ball snapped, so we have that extra comfort level and we can avoid those pre-snap penalties?
Is it concerning to you that 10 weeks into the season that comfort level still isn't there at this point?
I think something when there's a problem, like I would say with the sacks or with the pre-snap penalties, those are issues that we need to keep working to fix because they've lingered a little bit longer, obviously, than what we're looking for right there. So again, those are things we'll address, we'll talk through, always giving the guys the why, and then now it's about going out and executing. All right, thank you.
First of all, excited to get back to Soldier Field this week. Obviously, our guys got a look in their eye of fire. And ready to rock and roll. So I really like that. Got a huge challenge this week on special teams. Historically, the Patriots have always been good there, and it's really no different under Mayo. They have a really good return game. They're covering well, so it'll be a good challenge for our guys, and we're excited for the challenge. So with that, I can open it up to questions.
Is there a coaching point for Javon on that play, or is that one that turned in? How did you see that evolve?
Yeah, well, sometimes the action is not the intent. And in that moment, Kevin, the official, deemed the action as leverage when a player appeared to be bracing himself. So what I have to do from a coaching standpoint is I got to make sure that I coach better in that situation when we have guys that are going underneath our defenders, and they're trying to protect themselves, because health and safety of our players is the most important thing to me. So again, I just got to look at that more, which I have and I will. And obviously, it's a critical penalty in the ball game. Ahead of 2 minutes, we won't say that it's not. That's a critical penalty ahead of 2 minutes, So where you had them maybe for potentially 3 points and then now 4, 4 point, you guys know it's a 4 point swing there. So field goal into a touchdown. Obviously I don't take that light, and I don't sleep well throughout the week when mistakes like that happen. But we're looking forward to growing and getting better from it and learning from it.
Do officials have to ref better in those situations?
Yeah, I can't comment on that, Mark.
Do you dispute the call?
Listen, I know about commenting on officials, and I like to keep all my money in my pocket, but I understand what you're saying. I understand your question.
Well, what about
It's a good question, Mark.
Cairo's field goal in the hail?
Yeah.
What was it like being part of that operation, and what did you think of how those guys handled it?
Yeah, I thought it was awesome the way they handled it. Obviously the roof was open and we didn't expect it. I mean, we always expect a little weather, but we didn't expect it to start hailing right there, at that moment of the game when we were getting ready to kick a 53-yarder. But I can't say enough about Torrey and Cairo and Scott in that situation because Torrey knew right away when it started hailing. He went right to the equipment staff and say, "Hey, I need my glove." The equipment staff was ready. They gave it to him. Cairo was poised, and for Scott to come out and snap that ball like that, which is really hard to do. You could have especially on a longer kick. So Cairo did a great job in the game. I love the operation there, and he's done a great job of being consistent, being clutch, and performing when we need him. So he kicked all of those field goals last week, and I can't say enough about how well that kid is doing and how much he cares about the team.
What would you say at the midway point of the season that you learned about yourself in terms of the new kickoff rules, but also the way that you can teach it?
Yeah, I mean, midway through the season, I just look at it and you're starting to see a little bit more scheme now, which is really it's exciting with the new kickoff rule to see more scheme. And then the ways I have looked at it are what ways can we pin our opponents for our defense, and then what ways can we create more field position for our offense, i.e. leverage, hand placement, hat placement. Those are the things we're focusing on and keying on. So that's what I would say to that.
What do your guys got to know about Marcus Jones?
Yeah, again, unbelievable returner. I really like Marcus coming out. I got a lot of respect for him. Me being from Houston, I kind of watched him from afar when he was at Houston as well. A really dynamic player. Does a great job. I think he is very decisive. I think he has great instincts, great explosion. He can make you miss. He can break tackles. I think this kid's a really good player. And then I also think that their core, they have some very dynamic players in their core. The Schooler kid is outstanding, 41. Christian Ellis, who I crossed paths with before, is playing unbelievable. Other players that are there that I crossed paths with, Joey is doing a great job, Sly. And then you take a look at their other guys. I mean, when you just take a look at across the board how they play together and how they complement one another, it's going to be a tough challenge. And Mark has done a great job making dynamic, game-changing plays. You guys know he had that walk-off touchdown before to win a game. He's a good player. We got to be on our P's and Q's. But we are excited as hell to play him. I can promise you that. Good. Thanks.